In this video, we're going to talk about FlatMap. Now, remember what map does. It takes each element in a stream and maps it to a new element. For example, what I am doing here is taking each element and mapping it to the value of the element times 10. The first element is 2, so it is mapped to 2 times 10, which is 20. The next element is 10, so it is mapped to 100. The next is 15, so it is mapped to 150. The next is 1, it is mapped to 10. And the last is 9, it is mapped to 90. However, FlatMap behaves a little bit different. While map maps an element to a new element, FlatMap maps an element to multiple elements. So for each element, I can supply more than one element. Get that? Let me give an example. I am saying for each element, supply me a stream of the element plus 10 and the element plus 20. For each element in this list, it is going to supply me a stream of 2 elements. So at the end of this stream, I am going to have 10 elements. Why? Because each element is mapped to 2 elements. The first element is 2. So it will supply me a stream of I plus 10, which is 12, and the second I plus 20, which is 22. So the first FlatMap will supply 12 and 22, and so on like that. When we run it, you will see that we have 10 elements. The first is 12, then 22. That is because of the first element in the list. The second element in the list is 10. That will be mapped to 2 elements. So we are going to have 20 and 30. The third element in the list is 15. So that would be mapped to 2 elements as well, which are 25 and 35. For map, you have one element, you want to map it to another type of element. So one-to-one mapping. FlatMap can be one-to-many. This might not seem needed, but I'll show you a use case when you might need FlatMap. Remember when, let's say you have 2 primitive int arrays. Take note, they are primitive int values. If I try to create a stream of 2 int arrays, initially you might say, okay, this is going to return a stream of all the elements in this array. But it will not. That is because stream of accepts objects, reference types. Now, it will take the whole int variable as a whole object, instead of trying to take the individual int values in this variable. What you want is all the individual values in this array. So what you want is for each array object that comes here, you want to map it to a stream of that particular array object. Remember, we can use IntStream. But if we are using IntStream, we cannot use FlatMap because FlatMap is trying to convert or get an object and return a stream of objects. What we want to return is a stream of int values. So we want to return an int stream. We are going to use FlatMapToInt. Similar to MapToInt, remember MapToInt. What we're doing here is we get arrays. We FlatMap them to an int stream, and then we print them out. So for each value that comes in, there are only 2 values. We're going to map them to a stream of that array. So this is where FlatMap is very useful. We can clean this up by using method reference. Now, because it's an int stream, we can perform operations we can normally perform on IntStream. Let's say that we want to get the biggest element out of two arrays. We can call the max method, which is possible if we are dealing with an int stream. This will return the maximum value that is present in these two arrays because we have a stream of these two arrays. The maximum value was 90, so we should expect 90. And that is what we got. The original stream of returned a stream of int objects, so int arrays. FlatMapToInt returned an int stream. Max returned an optional int. Because it's an optional, we can call if present. So if the value is present, print it out. That is the beauty of FlatMap. I hope you understand FlatMap now and see that it is similar to map. The only difference is it is flat. I'm just kidding, but you get it.